white to the red. The battle commenced.
Two Wheels is proudly powered by Broadlink, delivering serious bandwidth for serious business.
In our Brother News Desk for this week, we go behind the scenes at the Zwartkops Raceway, where they had the Day of Champions races 2 weeks ago. Last week we showed the racing aspect of it. This time around we show, well, the historic motorcycle group and friends who are out there showing off their old bikes and having a bit of fun around the racetrack. Our good friend Roger McCleary is in the pit area, and he's going to catch up with some of the characters from the old days on the Day of Champions.
You must be the best all-round motorcyclist around, because you've done racing, you've done trials, you ride on the road, you bring youngsters to the country. I mean, Mick, and it's kept you young.
I'm just, yeah, if you cut me in half, I'd be like a piece of Blackpool rock in a same motorcycles. I just love it.
I know you do. From early on too, eh?
Ever since I was a little kiddie, I just love motorbikes, and you know, I just get a lot of fun from it. And you know, I was just saying earlier to you that a few years ago now, Peter de Toy asked me to bring some youngsters over, and we brought Cal Crutchlow, Tom Sykes, poor little Craig Jones, who actually was leading the World Championship when he got killed at Brands Hatch. And of course at the time they were just snotty-nosed little kids. And they all remember the trip. And whenever I see them, they just can't stop going on about it.
Amazing,
so there's obviously something magic about the place that we all love, you know.
It is, and it's that whole feeling of motorcycle. Also you find, when we used to bring even the Mike Elwoods, when they came over here, they always seem to go better when it's overseas. I don't know if it's the sunshine or what.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, Europe now, especially England, is the hardest place in the world for racing other than the World Championships.
Yeah.
So if you ride there regularly, you're going to be sharper.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember when I used to do a few Grand Prix, I would go back to England and I'd be a lot quicker than I was before.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Now, Mick, I mean, you have ridden, as I say, the all-round motorcyclist, I think, of all time. You've ridden everything, all the Japanese makes, and now you're into Norton as well.
Yeah, a few months ago now, Norton asked me if I would be team manager. And I said, not on your Nelly, I don't want to, I've been there and done it. Yeah. But I'm a consultant with them now. And I mean, our sort of focus now is on the TT for this year. And we're still trying to get a top class guy for it. Norton have done the TT the last 2 years, but with club riders. Yeah. We've now, since I've been involved, we've now got 200 horsepower. Yeah. We've got a very good chassis. And if we can just get a top class rider on it, I think it's going to surprise a lot of people.
My brother built the motor for me, and we've just put it together, so we weren't sure how many gears we had, whether it would go, but it's a 1982 TZ250, and it's performing well. It's gone fantastically.
Man, it's warm. But really nice, well-organised event. It's always good to be here. Privileged to be riding with a bunch of guys like this, the HMG guys, and so nice to see all kinds of bikes you haven't seen for a long time. RGB 250s, TZRs, all kinds of classics. Really good day.
Well, we've got the TR2, which was the ex-Johan Bossel bike. Johan won the championship with that motorcycle 2 years in succession, and we were very fortunate. We actually, purely by chance, discovered that it was his motorcycle when we started stripping it down and found that the paint underneath, the white paint, was yellow, which identified the bike as his. And then we have the RG500 that I built up out of bits and pieces that I collected over the years. Always wanted the 4-cylinder 2-stroke motor. It's really smooth, very powerful, a lot of fun to ride. And the little item, I last rode that motorcycle in 1966, and funnily enough it was right here at Zwartkops, and that was the last time it's ever been ridden up until now.
They are old 250cc Velocettes which were built by local South African racers in the 50s. Built out of standard road bikes. They did a lot of modifications on them. We found them in a loft in a bike shop in Pretoria about 10 years ago. They were in a bad state. We rebuilt them completely. And we just like to bring them out and run them a bit and so people can see them. It's a bit of history.
Today I have the privilege of riding Mike McSkimming's GT750 sort of TR replica, which is a very formidable bike in its own time, but it certainly wasn't meant to be a racing bike as it is there. So I'm used to smaller bikes, and this thing's certainly given me a workout.
Mike, it's been a while. You went overseas and came back. Long time since you last raced or put your leg over racing motorbike.
Yeah, hey, and great fun too, Rog. Yeah. I promise you, I really had a great time here today.
So it's hooked you?
Oh, that's me, I'm done now.
But you've also built a car.
Yes, I have a lovely little Can-Am Forenza, hoping to get that to Midval in March.
Mike, I mean, how do you find the competition? Have you lost the message, or you're right there with the guys going out here on Zwartkops?
It comes back very quickly.
And the lines through corners and braking, but the bikes go quickly today.
The bikes are fast, but the brakes are good and the tyres are unbelievable. Yeah.
Better than you had. You never told us that.
Our old cardboard Dunlops.
Everywhere you look around Zwartkops at this Day of the Champions, we see motorcycle enthusiasts. One of them is Craig Buck. He's a mighty big fella, and he used to be the president of the Motocross Commission. Now he's on to racing Honda 6s, and does it sound lovely?
Absolutely. It's I remember them from the days when Rod Gray used to race them. So, and I got hooked on CBXs and Honda 6s from that time.
What a sound, eh? Well, does it sound as good on the bike, though, Craig?
Absolutely spectacular. Yeah, it really does sounds almost like a Ferrari. That very exotic sound of sound. It's great on the bike.
And the handling, is that improved with the tyres or shocks or anything? Oh.
Absolutely not. I'm running it exactly in the spec that Rodney raced it in '78, because that's actually his original race bike. But the only thing I've got is modern tyres, and that doesn't help the shocks. It wobbles all the way around here, like it used to wobble back in the day.
They're a real handful. Yeah. We didn't realise just how brave people like Dave Woolley and Rodney were actually riding those 6s.
Absolutely, and you really appreciate it. And another thing is the brakes. The brakes are absolutely virtually non-existent. It's you don't realise how brave they were, and how, especially with Rodney, the king of the late braking, with the brakes being as bad as they really are compared to today's bikes. They're not even close.
It's a BSA ROCHET 3, a beautiful motorbike, and I suppose, Tommy, you always wanted to own one of these.
Yes, absolutely. I had one back in the 1970s when I was an apprentice, and always wanted to have one again in race trim, and eventually now I've got that.
And it's a special one. It came out at the time when Hondas came out with their 754s and BSA and Triumph came out with the triples.
That's right, yes. Unfortunately, the Hondas were better prepared than the BSAs and the Triumphs, and that was obviously the end of their manufacture then. I think it was in 1972 they stopped producing them.
And this bike here, did you build it up yourself? You bring it into the country?
No, I imported it completely built from the UK.
It's very special, eh?
Absolutely, for me it is. It's got a special frame, a Rob North frame. The engine casings were newly cast and machined, and of course all the other ancillary bits and pieces are wherever they could was new.
Back for more, Doug, and it looks like you're riding the original bike you had great successes on.
Well, not quite the original one, but as close as I can get it. Sort of
beautiful,
a reasonable hand-drawn facsimile.
Yeah, that's lovely. And you've always rode that class and rode it well.
Yeah, it was fun. Still fun. It's great fun.
And other Suzukis, you gone to bigger engines at all?
Yeah, I've got a T500 over here behind me. I'm riding that one today. This one here, young Kevin's riding it.
And those are the glorious days of two-strokes, weren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Real engines don't have valves in them.
Peter also did his bit at home, and you also won 250 championship, Peter?
Yeah, 1979, yeah.
Can you believe it? And the years are rolling by and you're still racing bikes and getting the most out of them.
Not racing too often, but these meetings that Clive Strucknell's put on here are absolutely awesome. Yeah, and we're meeting so many old faces again, which is awesome.
I can see this bike doesn't belong to you, still a sponsored rider.
Yeah, Paul Ward is the owner of this bike. He's got quite a collection of Yamahas. He only collects Yamahas. and Paul kindly offered me this bike, and we're having fun. Yeah.
I remember you, Ian, having a very big playing at Kyalami at a great speed. And, have you recovered yet? What is 35 years ago?
35 years ago, I don't think I ever recovered.
But that was like a life-threatening playing you had.
Yeah, no, 210 kilometers an hour.
Well, the bloke you came out the pits and ran into. And now you're back for more? And of all bikes, you've chosen a beer.
Yeah, it's my mate Roger Wilson's bike. And he's been very kind to let me loose on it. Very brave of him.
And what do you feel about riding it?
It's actually quite scary, and I discovered I'm really, really slow.
Lovely to see. I mean, you've had a whole history in motorbikes. You've raced motorbikes, and now lovely to look after the production of new Nortons.
Yeah, for sure. It's a wonderful experience I've been in the motor trade now nearly 16 years, and I've been there nearly 4 years now, and now I'm production manager. So I oversee every brand new motorcycle that gets built inside the factory, right from the parts coming through the door to a completed motorcycle coming off the dyno or the rolling road.
Where's the factory here?
The factory is now at Donington Hall.
Couldn't have it better, right? Norton, the name, traditional name. Round Donington is great.
Yeah, the hall is beautiful, and what a great surroundings. Perfect location now to be building a hand-built British motorcycle.
Wonderful. Well, listen, good luck in all the Norton. I know you want to go worldwide on it, and good luck also in South Africa. I know you've got Keith Zeeman as the importer and distributor. I'm sure you're going to go very well, because I mean, Norton's still got a lot of fans.
Oh yeah, it's been lovely to come out here as well. Although it's been a short time, I go home tomorrow. I've only been here 4 days, but the guys from Zeeman's motorcycles, they've looked after me. They've taken me out. We had a night out last night, so I was a little bit rough this morning, but yeah, the guys are brilliant and beautiful, beautiful family. So this works brilliantly.
Good to see the Norton name back in South Africa, and well done to Peter de Tooy from Zwartkops and Clive Struggle, who have put this event together once again, and we already are looking forward to next year's event, where we can drag out some old machinery and have good fun.